again. This is me, Amina Azad. Welcome to our third episode of Mind Reader. Thank you all for tuning in to every Thursday of the week to watch my show. So let's begin. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the types of childhood mental disorders that exist. So, as you know, you would understand that the child is suffering from a mental disorder by the series of changes in his day-to-day lives. Like typically how he learns, how he behaves, how he plays, how he handles his emotions. This eventually causes a distress and problems in him getting through with his life. Many children occasionally have problems like fear, worries, anxiety, and disruptive behaviors. However, if these symptoms are severe and persistent, then they are in a very likely, in like a very crucial stage of a mental disorder, because this will definitely interfere with his school life, with his family life, with his play activities, etc. So now let me just go in to the types of mental disorders that are there. The first form is anxiety. Anxiety is when you feel uneasy, fear, worrying about, and this happens to you constantly and keeps repeating. So that's when you'll understand that you're having some kind of a mental problem. The next is depression. Depression is a very common kind of a mental problem that everybody has. Depression is when you are very upset with something that has happened to you, with something that is occurring with you currently or in the past, then you're quite depressed about it. ODD, or Oppositional Defiant disorder. ODD is when there is a series of patterns of changes of disruptive behaviors. A person affected with ODD can be very much irritated and easily angry, gets easily angry. The next form is CD, or conduct disorder. This too has a pattern of series of changes in his behavior, but as the pattern changes, the child grows to become more violent and more irritated. He or she lacks in paying attention to something that somebody is saying. The next is a very common form of mental disorder, that is ADHD, Attention-Deficit Hyperactivity disorder. Now this is very much common, and the most problematic part about this disorder is that it stays and remains with you even when you reach at an adult life. So this really needs to be diagnosed at an early stage. Here, the person affected, or the child affected with ADHD, has a very high time in understanding rules, in following rules, in understanding, in keeping track of his work, in paying attention to something. And then what happens is that he gets nervous and irritated and angry very, very easily. The next is Tourette Syndrome. Tourette Syndrome is a series of changes in sound or acts, and this is very much repetitive. For example, the person suffering from a Tourette Syndrome can continuously move his neck every now and then, or twitch his left eye every now and then, or just scream out of the blue. And this is something that they cannot control. This disorder is just within them. This syndrome, you cannot control this fact. You can't control your movement of neck. So that's when you know that you have Tourette syndrome. This too, if diagnosed at a very early stage, can be treated properly. The next is also a very common type of disorder, that is obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Obsessive compulsive disorder is when you feel this compulsion to do something. For example, you keep constantly cleaning, although it's clean, you keep cleaning it in fear that maybe this is dirty. The OCD forms in a more dangerous state is when you try to harm yourself. For example, you want to know whether the fire is harmful for you or not. So what you do is that the person affected by it puts their hand in it or tries to put somebody else in it just to understand that whether it's dangerous or not. So, and this thing, no matter how many somebody tries to explain to him that this is dangerous, it still gets to them because it's the compulsion that they want to know whether or not this is dangerous. And if not, if they don't do it, they feel like, oh, they it keeps bothering them a lot. So this type of disorder is called OCD. The next one is post-traumatic stress disorder, it's PTSD. PTSD is something that happened to the child when he was at an early stage or in his early years that really gave him trauma, that really gave him stress. It could be an accident or something that was done to them when they were young. So this gives them flashbacks, which causes them anxiety, depression, anger, violent behavior. So this type of disorder is called PTSD. In our next episodes to come, I will be talking about more details about these types of disorders. So don't forget to tune in every Thursday of the week in our Grow Your Reader YouTube channel to watch me, Amin Azad, talk about childhood mental health in our Mind Reader program. Till then, thanks. Bye. Take care.